It's time to get real with Eddie, here to help you understand the changing real estate market and meet your real estate goals. Over 19 years in the business. 2018 Realtor of the Year of Three Rivers. Past president of the Three Rivers Association of Realtors. Director at the Illinois Association of Realtors and team lead of the Ruettiger Group at Baird Warner. Here's Eddie Ruettiger.
And welcome to Get Real with Eddie. It's Tuesday at noon, and we are here live in studio. Of course, with me is my right and left hand, Nancy Valley from the Ruettiger Group at Baird Warner. Nancy, how are you doing?
I am well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing really, really good. So, all right, let's get right into some real estate. What happens to the housing when there's a recession? Dun, 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 dun.
Let's talk about that, shall we?
Not that we haven't talked about it enough. All right. The 2022 CEO Outlook from KPMG. I have no idea. That's a new one. We're going to have to look that up.
Yeah, no clue.
Says, global CEOs see a mild and short recession, yet optimistic about global economy over the 3-year horizon. More than 8 out of 10 anticipate a recession over the next 12 months, with more than half expecting it to be mild and short. Okay. I think that's true.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think we're going to have, I don't think it's going to be a very deep recession. I do think it's going to be not that short. I think I'm thinking 6 months. If we're not if we're not already in a recession, again, it depends on your belief. But I mean, we did have last quarter GDP came in at 2.6 for third quarter.
Yeah.
So technically, we're out of a recession.
I think we're going to dance in and out a little bit.
Or do you have to be? I think you have to be 2 quarters of consecutive growth to be out of the recession. Because we only had 1. If we're going on the traditional definition, I think it's 2. I think you have 2. So, but you know what? I think the fourth quarter is going to be crushing it.
But I think
it's Christmas.
But I think we're going to flirt with this issue.
I think we're going to flirt with the issue for the next 2 years.
Oh, see, I don't see it.
You think we'll be out of it by then?
Yes.
I don't know. We'll have to see where the inflation numbers come in at the end of the month.
Well,
I was shocked last
I don't
numbers
think
were.
what it comes in at the end of the month is going to show us what's going to happen in 2 years.
Well, I think the Fed's going to continue raising rates as long as that number. They're going to keep raising.
Well, they got to get the inflation under control. Yes.
And they're going to keep raising it as long as that number's over 5. But if we get a number of 8 again, that's huge. That's going to be big. All right. Allie Wolf, chief economist at Zonda, explains housing is traditionally one of the first sectors to slow as the economy shifts, but is also the first one to rebound. And that's what I expect.
Yes.
I think while we're going into recession next year, you're going to see real estate taking off. You're going to see very competitive real estate markets. You're going to see higher interest rates for the beginning of the year. I think they might start coming down at the middle to end, depending on how inflation's doing. But you're going to see people wanting to make that move because they're going to see prices still up and be worried prices are going to continue to rise.
Yeah, because we still haven't solved the supply and demand issue.
Correct.
So as long as that's going on, we're going to have an issue.
Yeah, as long as we still have a supply and demand issue, that is going to continue to
drive the market.
Drive the market, exactly.
Yeah.
Of course, the computer freezes. I'm still having problems this week with this computer. We're doing better.
Yes.
We are doing better.
Yes, we have a Zoom.
We have
today.
a Zoom, yes.
We
So
do
for
have
those
a
that
Zoom
don't
today.
know, that's how we kind of run the show. We're sitting on a Zoom chat at the same time as we're on air, and we sit there and go back and forth looking at that way we can look at the same stuff at the same moment and keep the coordination going. So, yeah.
Yeah. And while you got it fixed to a certain extent, it's decided.
It's decided to have a hiccup. All right.
Yep.
So I really, really think you're going to see that multiple offer situation come back a little bit harder. I don't think we're going to be 7 or 8 next spring, but I do think we're going to see 4 or 5.
I was going to just say 4 or 5 because right now we're in maybe 2 to 3. And I can see, well, traditionally, spring market is a little more aggressive anyway. And I feel like the recession will not, by spring market, it'll be a little bit different. So I see it doubling. So into that 4 or 5. If it's a really hot property, maybe 6 offers. If it's something like so perfect and
but we're not going to
beautiful.
have, I don't think you're going to have 14 or 15.
Oh, no, I don't see 14 or 15.
Because you had what on, you had one listing that was how many?
37 offers. I had to do a spreadsheet for my clients. I broke showing time on that one.
That's insane. When you have 37 offers, that's, I don't think I've ever had 37 offers on a property. I think the most I've had was, I think I had 15.
I had a couple of them that had 15.
Yeah.
Between
I've had
10
a
and
couple
15.
around that are
Yeah.
around 13 to 15.
Yep.
I mean, so it is very, very possible out there. It just really wondering, and that's what everybody's wondering, is where this market's going to be going to get things moving back to normal. I don't even know what normal is. I think I said it last week. My whole real estate career has been abnormal. I started in the post 9/11 market. We went this hot market coming out of that until about 06, and then we went stagnant, and then we hit 08. Then I had the Great Recession market. Did we get back to a normal market? No. Then we went into this COVID market.
I think there was a couple of years in there from maybe 2013, 2014 to 2018. Then it started to get perk up. 2018, 2019, it was perking right along.
Yeah, that's true. It was doing really well.
So we had more normal market for maybe 5 years, and then 2020 just took off.
Yeah, it's just really amazing on the fact how untraditional the real estate market has been while I've been practicing. I mean, it just really amazes me. Let me get back into this article here. It just trying to figure out where your next step is for a broker or for an agent like us.
Mm-hmm.
It really makes it completely, compelling. But you stick to what you know. This is a relationship business, and
Yes.
It's not about selling the house in the short term. How many times have we had deals where like, all right, we don't care. I've had deals I didn't get paid on.
I have to.
Yeah, and you haven't been in the business as long as I have. I mean, that's the funny thing. There's people don't even understand that concept. So yeah, it's crazy aspect.
Yeah, it's interesting to kind of look over, is this the new normal? Is non-normal the new normal? And every year kind of a different year, and that's where I think you lean into the data. For our buyers and sellers, you have to lean into the data.
Yeah. All right, so the recession means falling mortgage rates. All right? Say that 10 times fast.
Recession means falling mortgage rates.
Yes. Mortgage rates changed during the last 6 recessions. is what it means.
Mm-hmm.
1980, rates came down 4.25. 81, 5%. 1991, 2.25. 2001, 0.63. 2008, 1.13. 2020, 1%. And we know from the 2008, rates kept falling and falling and falling. They came down more than 1.3%.
Mm-hmm.
1.13, sorry. So, Fortune explains, over the past 5 recessions, mortgage rates have fallen an average of 1.8 percentage points from the peak since during the recession to throughout.
To the trough, yeah.
Yep. And many cases, they continue to fall after the fact as it takes some time to turn things around even when the recession is technically over. So if, let's just say we fall 2% and we're at 8, probably going to be back at 6.
I see us getting down to 5.5.
Think so?
By the end of 2023.
Possibly. I'm
beginning of 2024.
I could see it more 2024. I think it's going to take a little bit longer than that.
But I think it's definitely going to go down. Once inflation gets under control, it'll start ticking down slowly.
We're talking 2 years, 2024, it's 2022. So again,
well, we've got a month to go. So that's a year and
buy the
18
house and refinance it.
Exactly. Because you're gaining equity that whole time you're there. That 18 months, you're not paying your landlord's mortgage, you're paying your own.
And that's the key.
Yeah.
That is truly the key. So, all right, let's take some fears out of saving for a home. Number one is the down payment. An article from Mortgage Reports explains that why it's not always the case. The idea that you have to put 20% down on a house is a myth. The right amount depends on your current savings and your home buying goals. That is perfectly true.
Yes, totally.
So, I mean, how many options are there out there where you're not putting 20% down?
Infinitesimal. And depending on your income and everything else and what kind of loan packages you qualify for, that kind of thing. That's why a lender's so important.
And what does bank rate explain?
Bank rate explains closing costs are the fees you pay when finalizing a real estate transaction, whether you're refinancing a mortgage or buying a new home. These costs can amount to 2 to 5% of the mortgage, so it's very important to be financially prepared for this expense. So that's another fear or whatever to alleviate.
Mm-hmm.
You speak to your lender and you talk to them about closing costs.
Well, and then they talk about the earnest money deposit. Earnest money is usually 1 to 2%. Now, if you want to put more down, do it. It's going to make your offer look stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, you come in and put 5% at earnest down, that's great. Just keep in mind, whatever you put down in earnest doesn't mean if you walk away from the deal, you're going to get it back. You have to keep that in mind. You have to talk to an attorney about what the legal ramifications and why you're exiting a contract. So do you really necessarily want to put that all at risk? I like to put at risk for my clients just enough that gets us the house. And that's it. You know, I think we can get the house by putting $2,000 down, I'll do $2,000. $4,000, whatever it is.
Yeah, and it depends on the cost of the house, the price point of the house, etc., like you said. But if you're in a multiple offer situation,
5 or 10%.
Yeah.
And you're going to look like a rock star. If you
Yes.
have that kind of cash flow, take advantage of it. All right? That all just goes down to your closing costs and your down payment anyways.
Right.
That's really what you're doing. You're just putting the money up front, but that's what it's used for. All right, so Realtor.com describes, it tells the real estate seller you're in earnest as a buyer. Assuming that all goes well and the buyer's good faith offer is accepted by the seller, the earnest money funds go toward the down payment, closing costs. In effect, earnest money is just paying more of the down payment and closing costs up front.
Right.
Yeah, and it's really, you're paying it at the time of you signing the contract, not 30 or 60 days later when you close on the property. So I think earnest is something people don't pay attention enough to. It can be a great tool in negotiating in a multiple offer.
Yes.
And make you look really, really strong. But at the same token, if you've got a funky feeling or whatever, don't put that much money down.
Right.
Don't put it at risk.
And again, talk to your agent.
Yeah.
Talk to your attorney about the risks. Talk to your agent about using it as a negotiating tool. Will it help in your particular situation? Because not every situation is the same.
They're not all the same, that's for sure. So, Sherwood. Give me some good news about Sherwood.
Let's look at Sherwood.
You're looking at new listings down 20.5%. Again, we're killing demand, but we're also killing supply.
Indeed.
We went from 44 down to 35 in 2022. Under contract, exactly the same, 21 units. Closed, we went from 48 to 31, bringing our closed units down 35.4%. Median sales price is at $360,000 even month over month of September. That's a 1.6% increase. While the 12 months on the median is 341, 376,769. That's up 10.5% on the 12-month average. Average sales price is $384,118. That's up 7.9%. The average 12 months is $375,760. That is up 9.8%. So good numbers.
Yeah, good solid numbers in Sherwood.
Yeah, in Sherwood. The percentage of original list price received, 98%. That is down 2.8 from last year, which was 100.8. Market time. Wow. So it sounds horrible because it's up 120%. It's at 44 days. Now, last year it was 20 days. And 44 is a little bit higher than we're seeing from some areas, but it only takes one or two properties. You get a new construction property that's been the model unit again, because you got 31 closed.
Yeah.
So 3 units, are 10% of the market.
Yeah. So it's going to skew numbers. You get a...
So
Yeah.
44 days, it's something to watch. It's something to be concerned with. The average trailing 12 is still down 17% at 34 days.
Yeah. But let's face it, it's under 2 months worth of inventory, so it's still...
Well, and here's the other thing. I think you're at a point where you can start reflecting on the 12 months. And the reason why we can look at the trailing 12 months is we are now getting out of... Last September doesn't count. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're going from last October to this September in your trailing 12 months. You don't have those hot,
Those
crazy months of July, August, September that we had last year in the trailing 12 months. So I really think you can start looking at it. Units inventory, 0 change. 46 units were available at the end of 21 in September. 46 units are available at the end of this year in September. We're going to take a dive into the attached. Again, the numbers are very skewed because it's such limited numbers. So this is where we get into the clickbait we talk about. All right. New listings, 7. That's up 250% because we had 2 last year. There's also new construction going on, I know of, in Sherwood that is attached units. Under contract, 6 from 2 last year. Closed sales, 5 closed versus 6 last year, so that's down 16.7%. Median sales price is $245,000, up 14.1% for this September versus last September of $214,750. Average sales price is up 241,480, up 3.9%. Percentage of original list price received is at 98.3%, down 0.3%. Last year they were getting 98.6. Average market time is down 10 days, 37.5 is down. Last year was 16 days. And inventory of homes unattached for Shorewood is up 300% to 4 units from 1 unit last year.
Yeah, talk about clickbait.
There's new construction going on in Shorewood.
Yeah.
And so I know there's some new units that have come onto the market. And that's where you're seeing this, so this is what you got to watch those numbers, look at the rolling 12. But even on the rolling 12, this lack of attached housing in Shorewood still doesn't give you a huge amount. You're talking, there's been, in the last 12 months unattached, 73 closed units.
Yeah, not very many in a whole year.
And that's down 15%.
Yeah.
So I think there's some good potential for builds in some attached in Shorewood. If you're an investor or looking to develop, I think you got a good opportunity to look at all of that in Shorewood. Anything really jumping out on the numbers?
Not particularly, other than just how market time really, okay, it's up, whatever, but it's still very low.
44 days?
Yeah, it's still low.
That's amazing. I mean, that's really amazing that houses are taking that long. And again, does this get into the junk inventory we've been talking about? That, yeah, market time's going up, but there's a lot of...
Well, there's new build, and then there's a little bit more distressed left.
Some ugly houses out there.
Yeah.
There's some ugly... I've seen some really ugly inventory. If you're an investor, now's the time to be coming back in and swinging.
Yeah.
You got a chance to negotiate. You got a chance to really get yourself in a good position. So, all right, we're after the break. Pre-approval is critical first step on your home buying journey. Keep it here with Get Real with Eddie.
A premier real estate professional, Eddie Ruettiger of the Ruettiger Group at Baird Warner.
Welcome back to Get Real with Eddie. Hey, if you got questions on the market, give me a call at Baird Warner, 815-823-5478. Again, 815-823-LIST. Yes, it spells list, believe it or not. Or go to yourdwellings.com. All right. So, what is a pre-approval?
What is a pre-approval? A pre-approval is when you're ready to take the leap into homeownership. Your first step is a mortgage pre-approval. A mortgage pre-approval is when a lender determines you're qualified for a home loan. Your pre-approval letter shows the maximum loan amount you're approved for, your home buying budget, as well as the specific interest rate and loan term you can expect.
All from a mortgage reports, and that's a good definition, but I think there's a little bit more to it. It really shows that you're a serious buyer. If I'm the seller and you come in and you make an offer, I have no clue if you can afford this house or not. If you want to prove to me that you can A, afford it, and B, you're serious about buying my house, you best come with a pre-approval. Yeah. And I will add, because I know you and me have both done it, we have had some agents look at us cross-eyed. If you're putting money down, show your proof of funds, too.
Yes.
You're coming in with 20% down? Send over something, an account. Now, you can black out the account numbers.
Yeah, I don't want to see your account number. I don't want to see your personal information, but I do want to see that bottom line.
Yeah. I mean, this is how you get a good deal. This is how you show, hey, no, we're serious. We're not messing around. Here's our funds.
Yeah.
Here's our funds. Here's our pre-approval letter. Here's this. Hey, guess what? Have the lender call. Hey, we just made an offer on 123 Main Street. Can you call the listing agent at ABC Mortgage or ABC Real Estate?
Yeah.
I mean, call.
And we vet lenders. As listing agents, we vet lenders on buyers. Do you have proof of funds? Do you have their information?
Yeah.
Do you have,
All right, so have you ran credit? I've been told no. In my career, I've been told no. Did you verify all needed documentation? Do you have tax returns, pay stubs, things along those lines? I've been told no.
I have been told, nah, I've known them a long time. I've been in the business 40 years. They're good for it.
I've been told flat out no. I've been told flat out no. Did you run them through a automated underwriter? All right. For my loan officers out there, yes, we on the team know that DU or LP are the big two that are used the most. And yes, we know there's a couple other small ones, but it's usually DU or LP. And we'll ask. We ask. We ask which one? Both? We want to hear both. Because if I got an automatic approval from two systems versus one system, hey, that gives me even more faith. I've been told no. I've actually been told, well, yeah, we have the automated underwriter approval, but they didn't have any documentation. So basically, they took all the numbers they were verbally told, but didn't have any proof, and put them into the automated, the system. Which, yeah, I'm just going to not touch that. Yeah, we're not even going to talk about that. It's not what you want, folks. We'll just say that.
So it's really important.
Yeah.
It's really important. And from a buyer's perspective, I can't talk. It's really important to have that pre-approval because then you're going to know more about your budget. And like we've talked before, it's not about price of the house as much as it is your monthly budget. And knowing the parameters of what you can afford. And with that pre-approval, you're going to have a better idea of what you're walking into.
Well, absolutely, because that gets into my last question. I mean, we always ask, did you verify the down payment? You know, did you see that they have 3, 5, 10%, whatever it is, 20% in an account? Now, if, I've asked for higher ones. I'll ask for sometimes proof of the down payment. But the last question I always ask anymore is, okay, what number did you use for property taxes? And did you take in the HOA into consideration?
Mm-hmm.
Because they could be approved, and I had the reason I asked this is I had this happen. They called me up. I called the lender up, having a great conversation. Mid-conversation, the lender made a comment, and I go, stop. And I forgot what she said.
I'd like to know that.
I forgot
this story.
I forgot what triggered this. I go, stop. What amount did you use for taxes? And their buyer was looking in the Chicago suburbs, a lot of like Cape Cod stuff. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, $3,600. All right, so $3,600. This house was in a Joliet property. The taxes were $5,600. I said,
a big difference.
I said, the taxes are $5,600. Sure enough, next thing you know, I didn't hear anything back from the agent from the counteroffer, and because we did still counter, but they rescinded the offer.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you talk about your monthly budget and getting into that monthly budget and knowing what that number is, yeah, it really does make a big difference in knowing how much you can afford. It is about monthly payment. It is not about whether you can afford a $200,000 or a $300,000 house.
And there's a big difference between an HOA at $250 a year and $250 a month. And there are a lot of different HOA fees all over this area. So you have to be very conscientious about that too.
Yeah, big time. Big time. Because it just really makes it in a situation where if you're not paying attention to all of these fine points, you're not going to qualify for the house. And that's what it's all about is, can I qualify and can you actually close?
Yeah, 'cause you can make an offer all day long, but if you can't close, sorry.
And now, what if you can't close? You could be out your earnest money, depending on the situation.
Yep.
You will definitely most likely be out your home inspection, a
Yep.
radon test, if you did any other kind of testing, if you had paid for you're out maybe a couple $1,000 because you didn't get the pre-approval done ahead of time.
Yeah, it's important.
It really is important. I mean, it's I would say the second step. The first step is finding your realtor. And if you probably know a realtor, if you don't, give us a call. You know we're always here for you. But have a sit-down conversation. Ask your realtor, who's your go-to lenders?
Mm-hmm.
Who's your go-to attorney? Who's your go-to... Know your team before you have to use it. I mean,
Talk to more than one lender.
Yeah.
Talk to more than one attorney. Find somebody you can communicate with.
Yeah. Because it can make a big difference,
Yeah.
a really big difference, with whatever you're looking at. So these three graphs are going to show why the housing market isn't like 2008, and that is basically our month supply of inventory. Our month supply of inventory today is at 3.2 months nationally, because we know it's not here. In 2019, it was 3.9 months. In 2018, it was 4 months of inventory. We've been under 6 months of inventory since 2012 nationally.
That's just crazy.
We've been under 5 months since 2014. That's what's crazy. That makes
Again,
me
I
say,
think that the new normal.
I think the new normal is 5 months.
It's like
4 to
5
5 months.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you wanted my opinion on what a normal market time is, it's 4 to 5 months market time. Anything over 5 months, I do think, is a buyer's market.
Let's see how long it takes us to get up there.
So, lending standards. All right. Historical data from mortgage credit availability, the MCAI. All right. At the housing bubble, we were at 800. Had a look at that. 68.7. Today, we're at 102.5 for mortgage availability. And then foreclosures, the foreclosure number is still at record lows. All right. Lenders started the process on 67,249 U.S. properties in Q3. That's insanely low.
And again, I think that has to do with how much equity how many lessons were learned in 2008 and how much equity people have in their homes. So I don't see a lot of foreclosures and stuff happening. Just
Yeah, CoreLogic, the total average equity per borrower has reached almost $300,000 in the data series. $300,000 in equity in a house.
you're not walking away from that.
No.
You'll sell it.
You'll sell it. So.
And there's plenty of people who want it. So.
Adam Dana explains very few of the properties entering the foreclosure process have reverted to the lender at the end of the foreclosure. We believe that this may be indication that borrowers are leveraging their equity and selling the property rather than risking the loss of their equity in the foreclosure auction.
There you go.
I mean, so yeah, it really makes a big difference. All right. We have 16236, a long common for sale out in Creekside Crossing. Definitely take a look at this 2-story property. It is gorgeous. An amazing house for sale. We can definitely help you out with checking out this model. If you're looking for something that is a two-story, this is definitely something you want to see. This is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath Galveston model, 3-car garage. It's a pretty amazing house. Full master bath. The pictures are amazing. Quartz countertops, 42-inch cabinets. This one is expected to be ready by April.
Okay.
So it's a great unit, and it's priced at $519,770. Plainfield North High School. So definitely want to check that out. All right. After the break, we are going to talk about millennials are still the driving force in today's buyer demand. Keep it here with Get Real with Eddie.
You made a smart move to Get Real with Eddie, helping you make your next smart move into your next home.
Welcome back to Get Real with Eddie. Hey, if you got questions on the market, give Nancy a call. Nancy, what's the best number to reach you at?
My phone number is 815-545-1162.
All right, so Deputy Chief Economist at First American explains in 2020, millennials with a bachelor's degree had a median household income of over $100,000, while those with at least a graduate degree had a median household income of over $120,000. Compare those income levels with the median household income of millennials with just a high school degree or some college of $60,000. The earning power benefits of highly education are undeniable. Millennials' pursuit of higher education is good news for the housing market because education is the key to unlocking greater earning potential that can turn into home buying. This is what they're saying, and the reason why millennials are such a force in the market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, look at that median income.
I mean, that's huge.
That's huge.
You figure $100,000 means you can buy a $300,000 home.
Yeah.
All right, you can buy a $360,000 if you're at 120. You know, and this is approximations. You know, there's going to be some other things that come into play, debt to income ratios, you know, stuff like that. What your credit score is, what interest rate you're going to get. Those will all be factors that'll fall in. Forbes explains about 80 million strong millennials currently make the largest share of home buyers, 43% in the U.S. According to a recent National Association of Realtors report, simply due to their numbers, the eagerness to become homeowners, this cohort is quite literally shaping the next frontier of home buying process. Once known as the rent generation, millennials have proven to be savvy buyers who are quite nimble in their quest to own real estate. In fact, I don't think it's a stretch to say they are the key to the overall health and stability of the current housing industry. I work with millennials all the time.
Oh, I do too.
They are the key to the housing industry as we know it right now.
Well, they are in 2022 what we were back in the day. You know, the boomers drove
the market.
Drove the market.
Yeah.
And now the millennials are at that ripe old age and ready to buy and have the money to do it. They're taking over.
Yeah, they are taking over. First American also adds to this. While not the frenzy of 2021, the largest living generation, the millennials, will continue to age into their prime home buying years, creating a demographic tailwind for the housing market. And this is the reason why I see prices going up over the next 5 years. It's supply and demand.
Yeah. Yep.
It
I agree.
really is supply and demand because of everything that's going on. Interest rates are one thing, but guess what? It doesn't matter if it's a 6%, a 3%, or a 15% interest rate. If you own the home, you own the home, you're gaining the equity. If you are renting,
You got nothing.
you're paying a mortgage, you're just paying the landlords.
Yeah.
Make the choice. Do you want to pay your own mortgage and build your own equity, or do you want to build equity for somebody else? I'm a landlord. Hey, that's great. I understand. But I honestly would rather see someone own a house than rent from me, even rent from me, any day of the week. I'll be 100% honest.
Yeah, it's about gaining wealth and generational wealth and doing big things for your family. So it's important.
It really is that. It's generational wealth, and that's that wealth that you can hand down and hand to the next generation. I mean, you really can do life-changing stuff.
Yeah.
The equity of your house, we've talked about it before.
It's a game changer.
You can educate someone, start a business, get out of deep, high-interest debt, or even use it to fix up your own current property. Maybe use it to invest in real estate. I have seen that done.
Yeah.
All of these factors can be life-changing. Because I'm sorry, I don't think we've built enough houses to keep up with the demand. There is a demand wave that is sitting there and just waiting, and I think it's going to hit this spring. I really think it's going to hit this spring. I don't think interest rates are going to hold it back.
No, I would agree, because people are going to get tired of holding back or waiting, and they're just going to move ahead.
Well, and sellers don't care. If I'm a seller, do I really care if you're getting a 3%, a 6%, or a 10% mortgage?
As
No.
long as you can close it.
I care about my bottom line. I care about what I'm selling the house for.
Yes.
So sellers are going to come back into the market going, well, this is what the market is and this is what my house is worth. Don't like it, then I'm not selling it. And you'll see them sit out on the sidelines a little longer, because that's what we're seeing right now. So if you see, honestly, if you're looking in the market right now, you should be pre-approved and you should be keeping your eye out. Because I think right now, the next 3 to 6 months, between now and March,
Yes.
I think you're going to have some deals. I think when we hit March, especially if the Fed gets everything under control, and you see the Fed go, okay, now we have to go back and address this recession if we're in that recession by then, and they start dropping, the second you see an interest rate drop, I think it's going to go.
It's on.
It is on.
It is on.
I think it's going to be completely on. And because buy the house, and if the Fed keeps dropping rates, refinance. So buy the house now.
Yeah.
Get in the house now. And not wait to the very end. So, all right, that wraps it up from Get Real with Eddie. Don't forget, check us out online at getrealwitheddie.com. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We have articles, previous shows, and more, all there to help you in your buying and selling process.
Thanks for listening to Get Real with Eddie. Eddie Ruettiger is a realtor at Baird Warner in Plainfield, license number 475141896. Managing broker Steve Engel. For more information on your neighborhood, call Eddie at 815-823-5478 or visit yourdwellings.com.